Welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 in, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Schultz. And Brandan, we're not going to go 20-0 on this season, my man. We're not going to go 20-0.
What happened? Why?
Well, we went into Detroit Rock City, Motown, and we took an L. We took an L to the Detroit Lions, 42-29, and we end on 3 in, 3 Out, of course. We're going to look at the sober yin, the raging yang, and we're going to get under the covers a little bit of some of the best moments of this game, the things that have us all sorts of jazzed, and some of the micro moments that make us want to puke a little bit, because we had some of those moments in this game too, Brandan. But a couple days removed from what was at least an entertaining game, how are you feeling about our Seahawks?
Did you say 42-29?
Yeah,
that doesn't even sound like a real football score.
It doesn't, but you know, when you get safeties and go for twos and all those things, that was the final score. Yeah.
All right. Yep. That's fine.
You got me Googling.
I'm just not in this mode of believing this loss. I'm in disbelief. I wanted to skip over it, but here we are.
We are here, and like we talked about on the, I filled in for Adam on the Live and Uncatfished show right after the instant reaction. And look, you give up a 70-yard touchdown, you give up a Philly special, you don't get some love and help from the refs. And look, man, back on the rewatch for this, there's a lot to actually love and like, and we'll get into some of that too. But for me, it's like the dudes who were meant to be our depth behind our starters. It honestly is the biggest reason we lost the game. There was like so many moments where I was like, oh yeah, that's our second or third string guy there. And they just failed. They didn't do their job. And, you know, I don't think that's too surprising against what is a good team.
It was also some of our first team guys though. I mean, there were Rayshon Jenkins was still out there as a starter. Witherspoon still out there as a starter. Draymond Jones is starter-ish.
Starter-ish, yeah. Starter-ish.
So Dotson, you know, so I feel like there was enough guys out there, and I felt this way after the game too, that, you know, you could have made it a little harder on Jared Goff. I know you got to him a couple times, but when you see a quarterback go 18 for 18, yeah, it doesn't make me happy.
Stings the nostrils a little bit, right? Yeah, so yeah, just heating them up a little bit, but not nearly enough. And as we get into the ins and outs, which we will do, look, of course we had almost a majority of our starters out there when Julian Love went down, and it was kind of like 5 or 6 out of 11 were not on the field for our defense. But there was tons to actually like and, dare I say, love about the film and on the rewatch. And it was really a fun time too. So for the folks that are out there for the first time ever, Brandan, if they're seeing this for the first time ever, what do we want them and need them to do to raise the Hawkra?
Yes, if you are watching for the first time and you're out on YouTube, you got to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening via audio, you can subscribe there too. Just that way you make sure you get all of the shows that we put out. If you're only getting part of them, like you're on the For the Hawkra feed and you want to subscribe to the Seahawkers podcast, you can go to seahawkerspodcast.com/subscribe, and everything's there, whether it's Seahawkers podcast, whether it's For the Hawkra, all the shows right there. Subscribe, and that way you never miss an episode.
Make it so easy. And later in this episode, we're going to be doing a segment we call From the Flock. We do it every single week, win, lose, or draw on 3 in, 3 Out, and where we read your ins and outs. But you got to be a member of the Discord for that to happen. And for that, you can go to getintheflock.com and become a member right on Patreon there. So there's benefits. There's bennies as being part of the flock for sure. It's a fun time. All right, Brandon, let's put this up on center stage here. Remove the bottom branding as we go. I'm looking at this saying, man, Geno in complete command, how I'm titling this, even though it's a loss, even though we got to get to some of the ugly. And as we cycle through, we said already, hey, make sure you are subscribing out there on YouTube. We are storming towards 5K out there. It's simple. It's easy. Go ahead and do it. And before the game, we've been using YouTube a lot to put out polls and messages and some graphics and teasers and stuff. It's actually a great little social platform unto itself now, not just for video. And I put this out before the game. It was like, with our D-line injuries, oh boy, who must step up? And over almost 250 votes later, nearly a majority, 41%, by far the biggest chunk, was saying Draymond Jones has to step up. So just thinking about it, do you think Draymond Jones did indeed step up, or did he fall a little short of filling in the void?
It fell a little short for me when you look at the number of pressures on the day. He only had one. It was a sack, so he got home on his one pressure. But I guess when I was thinking that, he would step up, it would be multiple pressures. It would be with the idea of moving him inside and knowing that Ragnow is going to be out. They're going to have a backup guard in. I thought that they could get a little bit more interior pressure, and they weren't able to do that.
Agree. That was for me. It's like, kind of half empty with that. Did Draymond do it? Yes, he gets that late. All right, that causes the safety and all that jazz. So we get the 2 points back that we should have had for the 2 points earlier when DK actually converted the 2 points when we should have went for 1 point. If you're following all that, with all that, it's there's other moments where we'll talk about it where I was like, oh, I don't think he's quite there. And at 18 mil or so a year, we kind of need him to be. And Brandon, before we look at the ins and outs, because I know we're going to get to it, or the outs and ins in this instance, I did want to show two things. One thing real quick, one statement, and then a quick little video that I queued up. I did want to say, look, there's so much to go. To only pick 3 ins, that was actually way, way harder than finding 3 outs from this game. 3 outs that I could decide upon. Some just general observations that I want to share with you too. Number one, who does AJ Barner remind you of before we get into the ins and outs? AJ Barner, what kind of vibes do you get from him? Because I'm seeing something I like a lot in that dude.
Will Dissly?
Okay, not bad. Maybe super young Will Dissly. I was going towards Zach Miller. To me, he feels and moves. It's just like I think we got just a good old solid NFL tight end with him, man. And I'm not going to cover them in 3 and 3 out, but on his touchdown play and then on a first down conversion, it's the same exact play. He's sitting on left-hand side. They flank Bobo to his side. They both just do like a levels drag, and then he's wide open, and he's got Bobo as a lead blocker. 2 times in a row. We're 2 for 2 with that play so far. One's a touchdown, one's a first down. And I don't know. I just like Barner's size, smoothness. He's looking pretty good to me, man. So I just thought, I wonder if folks are thinking about that. Drop a comment out on YouTube if you think Zach Miller, you think it's a different tight end, maybe a Seahawk, maybe not. Love to get your opinions on that one.
Did I ever tell you that
what do you got?
Will Dissly reminds me an awful lot of Zach Miller?
It all comes full circle. I love it. No, you did not until just now, but thank you for sharing that with us. Really, that's you. Thank you. I feel you. So I appreciate that. And then the other one that didn't make the grade because there was so much goodness here. We had some plays to the edge where Charles Cross is out there looking like Walter Jones, man. And beautiful plays. I wanted to win this game so much because I could almost guarantee that a Brandon would have featured Charles Cross storming down the left-hand side, burying dudes. But I couldn't get them all in here. But I wanted to share that, man, did he look good for another week? Did you see stuff from Charles or Stone? Because we're not really going to talk about the offensive line, but I do want to give you a chance to talk about it.
If I'm talking about the offensive line, I feel like I'm generally going negative. I know what you mean about seeing Cross out there in space.
Yeah.
But those two together gave up, it was almost 25 or 26 pressures on the day. I could tell you exactly how many. It was 22. Stone gave up 12. Cross gave up 10. And yes, they did have some tough assignments, especially with Aiden Hutchinson on the opposite side of the ball, and only 1 sack on the day, which you got to give him credit for that. But I feel like if you're giving him credit for that, you have to give Geno double the credit because it was mostly him dodging toots.
Geno was really, really good. Hence the thumbnail with Geno in complete command. And great little segue too here. Just a little bit of video that I want to make sure we're playing for everyone out there too. This is just a Geno play that I just have to show real quick. It's the all 22 look at it. And you're seeing Geno just, there's some dodging as we're talking about.
There's
And then
Stone and
look at that.
losing his man.
Look at that honey hole. I mean, that to me is absolutely sick, dude. Just sick. So look, yeah, there, okay. I think that was another blitz. That was
Blitz off the edge,
yeah,
unblocked. Yep.
and then boom. I mean, that just giving Geno some of the love nice and early, because I think we're not going to talk about him much, but the dude just keeps on putting up not just numbers. It's not numbers. It's like, to me, I keep saying, imagine if we protected him like Sam Darnold gets protection. Like, people are going nutso over Sam Darnold, and rightfully so. 3 touchdowns a game, 4 touchdowns a game, 4-0, going into Lambeau and putting up big numbers. I'm just hopeful that mid-year, 3/4 of the way through the year, Abe is back and we are protecting Geno in, just a more mature manner, and his acceleration in this whole scheme just continues to to go higher. Ceiling wise, do you think Geno could pitch even higher, Brandon?
It's tough to say that he's going to pitch any higher than 400 yards per game. Maybe he could do that in a fewer number of dropbacks, like less than 50 some, ideally.
Yeah.
So he could. There's room for improvement there, and I guess we got old man Jason Peters on the way to help at reinforcements.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's going to be an interesting one. All right. Well, we we meandered, and this is probably what happens when we don't win, so that we can avoid the tough assignment of getting to our first out. But now the time has come. I know there's a whammy. I don't want to accept the out, but let's get to that first out. Okay, still doesn't feel good. Still doesn't feel good, but we're gonna get right into it. I put that poll up beforehand that I was teasing it a bit because really early in the game we're looking at out one Q1 726. Lions are at Seattle's 47-yard line. It's 1st and 10. And my biggest fear when we were going through what's possible in this game, Brandon, was that we're gonna get blown off the ball and Detroit's gonna just chew clock on us, kind of like the Patriots did, but with a better line and I think some more skilled backs. And right here, man, just circling this, no video for this one. That's Draymond Jones, and that hole is gigantic. And not to just pick on Draymond, because it wasn't just a Draymond thing. A little bit later on, these two circled here, you got Gibson, who's basically at the 41-yard line, and he circled twice because the second time there's nobody on him, but trust you me, he didn't magically move back there. That's how far he's blown off the ball. Now he's trying to go forward.
Yeah.
He's like crossing the 41-ish when the ball is snapped, and he's regrouping at almost the 45. Brandon, we were getting blown off the ball, and there was others too, but this was my biggest fear, and it unfortunately came to life for us.
Gibson had an atrocious day, and so if he's where you're going with the out, there's so many plays that you could choose from, and this just happens to be one of them.
Yeah, yes, that is all correct. I mean, there was also times where Reed got blown off the ball, though I thought he did better. There was times Hankins got moved, but Hankins made a couple of really nice plays also and shut a couple of things down. And the funny part was drive one, I think they got like 40 or 38 yards from Montgomery. Drive one, he ended the game with 40 yards.
Well, not drive one, because drive one was actually
right, that was a 3 and out. Yeah, drive two, the first touchdown.
It was drive two, yes, and it started out with Montgomery going for 11, then for 4, then they threw in some passes, then Montgomery for 7, then 13, and then Gibbs had a 20-yard run where he was untouched until he ran into Rayshon Jenkins. And then, they just needed a couple runs by Montgomery to get it in the end zone from there.
It seemed to me like it got cleaned up a bit in the second half, but we just did not have the dogs. And this is what I was saying a bit in the preamble, Brandon. It's just that, like, look, our second and third tier dudes, I really think they let us down in this game. But it's not a surprise. It's they went against superior talent and got beat man to man. And while I really know our starting defensive line unit would have performed better, I'm not sure they would have been, I'm not sure they would have won the day either. Detroit just has a really good offensive line, and they showed it. So kudos to Detroit. But my biggest fear came to life. Let's get to some of the great stuff because there was a lot of good too. Yes, we could dance. We could dance if we want to, Brandon.
I do,
Okay.
and I want to dance to in all day.
That's it. And speaking of dancing, I'll hop right to this. We got to do the canine. It is time. It is time to do the canine. So in order to do the canine, well, then I got to bring this back up here because why not already? I know it's been said 1,000 times. I know it's out there a lot, but boy, oh boy, do we have to. We have to talk about this. There's no way, Brandon. I watch this. What in the world is happening, dude? I had to show it 3 times because triples is best. Triples is safe. What is happening here? Have you ever, Brandon, you're 45 years old, about to be 46, I think, pretty soon. Have you ever, in say 38 years or 40 years of watching football, seen a move quite like this ever live?
The only thing that comes even close to this is when Chris Carson was jumping into the air and got hit and then somehow torqued his body to then land on his feet.
Yes.
But this is like doing that twice.
And with an oblique injury, or at least it's seemingly healed, right? It's like,
it's fine. His oblique is fine.
Yeah, it turns out he looks okay. It's like, coach, look, I could do this. This is like jumping out of a 6-foot, underground pool, right? It's like and jumping out and be like, yep, that's how unbelievably strong I am, and I could just do different things. It's insane. And of course, before we got on, you were showing, you were talking about Kyle Brandt had this like extra segment on angry runs, and he's just going ballistic about this. He's like, this is the most insane mash the buttons Nintendo move you could ever do. We talked about the specialty of K9, and I think boy, did it show out, Brandon. There were other plays for sure. Before we move on, any other things from K9 that you were like, man, this dude is just, he changes the game because he's so dynamic.
It's hard to pick a favorite play, but one that jumps out to me was when I think they were right on the goal line, and he goes to run up the middle, and Cross got blocked so hard that Cross just hits him like 3 or 4 yards deep in the backfield, and he shakes it off and bounces it outside and then runs it into the end zone like it was designed to be a bounce out to the outside play.
Yes, and he's pumping his fist. He's just like he knows exactly what's up. I think that was his first touchdown because the second one was a long one. Third one was the bread of the sandwich with another 1-yard plunge. He changes things up completely, and he ended up with 36 yards receiving on 4 catches. He had a screen pass where it broke down right away, and Geno was able to float it over, and he still got like 7 yards on an effective screen. The dude changes our offense so much for the better. And I'm just happy that, well, number one, Sharps came in and did some nice things in relief, and he looked good too. But number 2, I'm just happy that we have an offensive coordinator who I don't think is afraid to really throttle things with K9 and then be like, you know what? We're within the 5. We're at the 2. We're at the 1. K9. We're at the 50. K9. We're at our own 5. I don't care. K9. I like that trend a lot, Brandon.
I like it too. And I know it comes at the cost of maybe Geno Smith padding his touchdown stats, which he doesn't have a whole lot. Like his touchdown to interception ratio doesn't look great right now, but I'm enjoying the K9 touchdown ratio at this point.
I love it. Yes, he has 4 in 2 games, which we put another little poll out on YouTube. So youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. You can find it out there. And we're just asking, how many total touchdowns receiving and rushing do you think K9 ends up with on the year? Right now, I won't even tell you. Go out there, put your vote in, and then you can see the results. But very dynamic player. And back to Geno for a hot second. He's also a butt cheek and a Bobo elbow away from a 3-touchdown day. DK Metcalf's butt lands on the half-yard line. Bobo gets a nice catch and rolls over, and he's kind of tapped at the half-yard line. Right. All right. That's going to change. He's going to get his opportunities to get touchdowns. And yes, then maybe it comes at the expense of K9, who's not going to average 3 a game. Bottom line is this offense is really, really good and humming. So I have one more.
They both average 3 a game, and
I
call it
like
good.
that. I like that. I got one more thing to share with you on this one in particular. So this, what I want people to watch here, this is the best. Watch Tyler Lockett. Watch Lockett over on the left-hand side. Watch. He just goes, okay, first down. Now watch this. He sees that, and then just walks away. He walks away like that's normal. What is happening? He walked away like that was normal, Brandon. I love it so much. I watched it like 1,000 times. I'm like, what is good? Like,
He's like, all right, I guess.
This screams to me he's seen this before. It's like, oh, he's seen this in practice. Look at this. Watch. He's just, oh yeah, ho hum. He's like, he's thinking, I got to hear about K9. That he's gonna be talking about it all week. Did he must have seen something like that, because no human reacts that way. That was insane.
No, weren't all of us up off our couch at this point? And he had a front row seat closer than any of us. How is he not like running over there and then just slapping him in the helmet? And
100%. And
how do you keep that subdued inside of you?
Exhibit B is Kirby Joseph going, whoa, man. He's putting his hands up. He's like, wait, he doesn't know what happened. He's like, whoa, is he still on? Yeah. So Kirby Joseph knows what's up. Tyler has clearly already seen this. And I think we had a lot of fun with that and that's what the show is all about. All right, let's hit that whammy. Out number 2, back to the sober side of the ledger. Okay, I'm going to call this one, and we don't have an echo effect ready, but y'all could imagine what that says. Lost in Space with the giant spacey echo. So 14-7, Q2, 9:48 to go. Lions got the ball, 2nd and 2. Detroit's, they're at their own 37-yard line. Witherspoon has an awesome effective blitz. I'm going to take you through this. So this is, again, screenshots. I was like, I'm not doing videos for the outs. I'm just not there yet. I hope people love the videos and they're like, dude, you finally did video, and we'll see if we can continue this. I like it too. But we got Gibson again. And let's give the first out to Draymond, because oh boy, is this Gibson's. So you got on the top of the screen there, barreling down the on the left-hand side of the line is Witherspoon on a blitz. Now you got Gibson picking up Laporta. Okay. All right, young man. You got him. Okay, cool. Now you can clearly see Witherspoon circled. He's got a bead on Jared Goff. I can tell you who's going to win that match most often, Brandon, in terms of who's going to get tackled, who's not. Yeah. And then I went ahead, I circled the other Detroit line options who are just smothered, just one-on-one smothered, and they're all covered. And bottom left-hand side, all right, that spacing's okay for Gibson and Laporta. It's like, okay, why don't you try it? And maybe I'll pick 6 this thing. Got it. So now Goff starts to come at the only person he possibly can, which is Laporta. And then this space happens. What? And just to flick it back, right? It's not like Laporta moved that much. He just went to the sideline. He didn't go towards, he's at 39-yard line. Okay. He's at the 39-yard line, maybe another step towards out of bounds. Gibson is biting on a Jared Goff scramble with Spoon on his back and another Seahawk who's about to take him down. What? This was the worst play of the game for me, Brandon. This is worse than the Philly special, which was also over Gibson. I can't excuse this. If I had more outs, I'd give it to this play.
Gibson deserves multiple outs. This just happens to be one of them. And you're right. I mean, it's obvious who your man is when you are within this tight of a circle. And for him there's just no reason for him to be trying to keep Jared Goff from, I don't know what he would have gotten, 2 yards. If like you can't see Spoon in this picture because Goff is throwing it and you can see a little white behind Goff. Yeah.
That's Spoon. That's his body. Right. He's actively tackling him. So if he's got nowhere to go, he's taking about a 2 or 3 yard sack. So,
but even say Spoon misses that tackle.
Sure. Let's give Goff a 3-yard gain.
Yeah.
Gain. Okay. All right. It's 3rd and long. Instead, it's like, it's gonna be like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, whatever. Should be 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12, depending on where he gets sacked. It's not. Laporta catches this. Gibson flies by him, grabs his face mask. So this ball should have been 3rd and like 12 at Detroit's 27, and this ball got all the way, I think, to like the Seattle's 38 with the penalty. Like, it's just stuff like this, man. And this is a little hopeful too as we cope about this. This doesn't happen with our other players. It just doesn't. Not this level of, oh my God, that's a really bad play, dude. Now I hope Gibson could get better, and I hope he could be a valuable Seahawk. He just wasn't on Monday night, and he's got to wear this, man.
I agree.
All right. Oh God, it's kind of cathartic, but boy, oh boy, was this one got me steamed. All right, hit that whammy with some passion. Oh.
I hit it so hard the first time, it just
clearly
didn't want to come back.
Didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back after that one. I get it. The whammy was like, I'm out. And for that reason, I'm out. All right, so we're back to the inside of the ledger. This one, I put little titles on everyone. So I hope people are liking the little things you're trying to do to make this a bit more fun. So oh, there it is. Look at that. I was like, what's happening? I thought you were playing Intergalactic by Beastie Boys. I was about to
trying some things here. Let's try this one.
Yeah, go I love this. All right. So the likes, the subscribes, you got to tell us about this because, hey, we're trying things here, right? You can't blame us for trying. Like a hook and ladder on a third down and long play, as opposed to a give up play, Brandon. Not what we're talking about here, but another thing we could have been, celebrating. This could have been 6 ins. Oh, it could have been 12 ins. All right. Savvy Spoonie. What's going on here? It is, yes, it's about Spoon. It is 21-14 Q3. We're back in the game, but the Lions got the ball deep on 1st and 10. Let me see. What do I have here? Yep. So I got a little bit of this, and then I got a video. You got Penei Sewell kicking out to the right here, a little toss right to Montgomery. This is what I'm talking about when it's like, oh, Walter Jones on the edge. Walter Jones on the edge I don't care who it is. He ain't losing out there. Charles Cross was not losing out there in this game. However, let me take you to the videotape and show you what Savvy Spoonie does, because this is super cool. By the way, before I play it, do you remember what Savvy Spoonie does?
I don't remember.
Does
he engage and then take away the outside and then kind of flip back inside to make the tackle?
Ding, 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 ding. Right? Let's watch this. This is so good. Watch Spoon. Okay. He knows what's happening. And then, well, look at this. This. Normal people don't do this. They don't think this way. They don't process the game this way. They're going to allow Sewell to wash him out. And then it gives Montgomery a chance to cut it up. Look at this. He just knew exactly what to do, dude. And it's so good. Here's the kind of all 22 angle. And he just is like, no, I'm not going to let you wash me out. He stiff arms Penei and spins back inside, knowing that he's not getting around the tackle. He's not going outside, and he's got the help. It's just such a savvy little play that is going to get lost in what is a 13-point game that I had to show this. And this is the stuff that tickles me, Brandon.
Yeah, that's a really cool move by him and yeah, because if he does get blocked there, he probably gets pushed all the way into the end zone. But because he spins out of that move, then he's in position. It allows all of his teammates then to catch up, and it doesn't give Montgomery that big man to run behind. Yeah, that's a really impressive move by Spoon.
It is so good. It's these little things, and I realize Spoon's not having the big. It's 4 games in that the interceptions are not there. He's not getting home quite yet on some sacks, et cetera, et cetera. I get all that. He's also being asked to do a lot of more and different things than last year in a brand new system. And yeah, he might give up a play or two, and Amon-Ra might catch one here or there. But the dude he's still so good. There was another screenplay where I forget, it might have been Tim Patrick, or I'm not sure who it is, but he sheds him at the last second and then makes a stop for like only a yard or two on a screen that would have went for 10 plus. He's still very special. Just keep the faith. This dude is a baller. And I have a lot of energy coming out of this game in spite of giving up over 40 points, Brandon.
He finished the day as the 4th rated member of the Seahawks in terms of PFF grade, 72.5. And really a big part of why he wasn't higher was he got downgraded on tackling. And partially due, I think, to a missed opportunity there on Goff. So despite all that, still one of the top 5 guys for the Seahawks, including Tyrese Knight, who was part of that top 5 and pushing Montgomery out of bounds on that play.
Tyrese, I like that you're bringing up Tyrese Knight. Saw some stickiness from him as well. And kind of the opposite. When Baker was ruled inactive, I kind of went, ugh. I was just like, oh man, the Lions are really good at that between the hash stuff or just outside the hash stuff. And there were a number of plays where the ball is, it just seems to me, not an X's and O's full on guru, a number of plays where I don't think Dotson got quite deep enough. It's like he's just not quite deep enough. And let's give credit where due again. Goff was good. You don't go 19 for 19 by accident. So it's good scheme, a good team, very well executed on their home turf, and you tip the cap. But I really want Baker back out there too, because I think the coverage ability is better. But I love that you brought up Tyrese. I love that you brought up Knight, number 48, because we don't talk about him too much. But for a rookie who was kind of slandered when he got drafted, it was too early. He's a big part of the Seahawks 3-1 start, and I love that you brought it up, dude. All right, let us hop on over to our final out. Let's do it. Okay, out number 3. I don't have video. I don't even have still shots for this one because I'm not a sicko, but I'm going to call it not so special. I could just talk about it for a second. Q4, 9:02, 35-27 ball game now. We're so 9 minutes to go. We're a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away, and we're driving. And this is right after Lockett gets what I think is probably the right call by the book with OPI. And we have to punt. And let's park there for a second. If you rewatched it, I understand it's by the book, but are you hoping the refs, besides being a fan, do you hope the refs just allow for a play like Lockett was trying to run? And was it a little ticky-tacky?
I mean, if we're going by the book on a lot of these things, Ken Walker probably should have been down when his helmet was on the ground and flipping over the top of a dude. So, I mean, there's a lot of these calls where it's by the book versus, judgment. And obviously when they saw the Ken Walker thing, they're like, well, that's awesome. We can't stop that.
Yeah, and, that is that's too good. We can't take that away, right? So
that has to be a first down. That's incredible.
Yeah. There's no way that cannot be a first down. I agree with that. And then later when you see Decaf get kind of molested in the end zone, it's like, oh, dude, like, where is that? Like, if you're going to call one, then call the other. Right. So disappointing. But what I'm calling as an out is not to do with the refs. This is not to do with, maybe Tyler not selling a rub like he did the week before when he flounced around, when he ran a similar type route. But we had 2 chances back to back to then pin the Lions. We take a 5-yard penalty. There's a punt and they get another chance at it. And both times the ball sails into the end zone. So look, Dixon is a great punter. He's been an all pro. He's been a pro bowler. He's a really, really good punter. But in this kind of game, where I said earlier, where you give up a 70-yard touchdown, where you give up a Philly special, where you give up a 54-yard fumble return on a play where you're trying to get, an extra yard by DK, that flips the game. You've got to find ways to battle back against a little bit of bad luck where you thought you had a first down, and you got to put them at the 2-yard line or the 5-yard line, something like that, to put that ball in the end zone. He's got to execute. It's just such a big part of that game. And for me, he's going to wear it out for it, dude.
That one was weird to me too, because on that play, he had the punt, and then it was the false start. And so you thought, okay, well, now he's kind of got an idea because that one went into the end zone.
Yes.
Now he has a feel for exactly where he needs. It's like when you're out on the golf course, you make a chip shot and you take your mulligan. And you're like, okay, well, now I've had my mulligan. I'll be able to get this a lot more closer. For, I think, a professional I think that would be really easy. For me, I'd probably hit it and, chunk it and it goes into the water on the second try. But, for Michael Dixon, I feel like you should be able to stick it then the second time.
That's exactly it. He had the practice putt or the practice chip. It's a
Yeah.
perfect sports metaphor. And he just missed it twice. And that's, as a professional, as a dude who's been an all pro, there's a very high standard, and that's okay. And we're going to hold him to that. And that's a different game if you just shrug off that kind of ticky-tack call and they're starting at the 2-yard line. It's a different ball game. So he's got to execute there. We're not going to go too much deeper in that, but that was the final out for me. Any other outs that we have no more outs here. So anything else you're like, oh man, I'm surprised you didn't talk about this, or no, let's get back to the good stuff. Your call.
Let's get back to the good stuff.
I like the cut of your jib. Let's do it. This is why we work so well together. All right. Last in, and I'm going to, imagine like a Fabio cover, like I can't believe it's not butter type thing. And just, some manly men, and there's some good looking women. You're probably on a ship, and there's an ocean, and there's a mist, and there's barrel chests, and there's just a lot of masculinity. I'm going to call it the inner fullback, because something special happened. So just by the title, do you have any idea where I'm going with this for the inner fullback?
Ooh, I have a feeling are we going back to some AJ Barner, or maybe some Charbonnet?
Oh my goodness. You gotta serve up, if you're having some chicken or some fish or maybe some lion, you gotta serve it up with a nice chilled Charbonnet. So a little bit of the time we got to see some 2-back sets. Sometimes that was Brady Russell playing fullback. Sometimes it was Charbonnet. And I want to show you that he destroyed this dude. Destroyed him. Look at this. Boom. And then I'm going to do the favor of showing this a few more. Look at that. Look at that. He's dead. He took a soul. Brandon, he did the thing where he took a soul. And it's so nice because when Adam talks about being a tough team, when we want to run the ball on 3rd and 2, look at what we could do. This is 1st and 10. But
Right.
look at what we could do when we want to. Look at this, bro. Look at this. This is something. It's something on film now. And if we come out and do this more, we're in a dome, the weather's going to turn. The weather's going to be, this is how it goes, right? October into mid-November. And then all of a sudden, we need to play this kind of football down the stretch. And I like that we're showing these people, that the whole league, that you need to watch out. We can do these things. So does that give you the fizz, Brandon?
It does. Interesting component of this play is DK completely whiffs on his block.
Let's see it. I didn't even notice. I was so enamored, I forgot to notice. Where's DK?
Right there. See, there he goes. That's the first guy that K9, maybe he doesn't completely whiff, but he's 3 yards in the backfield.
He's a little late.
K9 has to dodge him. Because the reason why I noticed, because there's no tight ends even on this play. It's you got Bobo, you got DK, and they're your de facto blocking players, and then you got the fullback kind of sorta in Charbonnet, and with the 2 backs in the backfield. Interesting formation. You don't see a lot of 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs out on the field with no tight ends. So interesting formation, probably some different things that they could do off of that formation. And so that might be something to watch for moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. They unraveled a bit more, unraveled being the wrong thing, unwrapped. Well, some of it unraveled on defense, but we unwrapped a bit more of the grub offense. And that was cool. I mentioned those like mini levels concepts earlier, where you drag both Bobo and Barner across, and you drag them through like the muck. They're coming like right across the face of the linebackers, and they get lost. It's just good scheme. It is good scheme. And you go look at Geno's chart, and oh my gosh, it is just green dots in every place. And it's just something to get really excited about.
And when Bobo end up here? Because I see him at the far right of the screen right now.
Yep, he's blocking.
But where does he?
Let's see where Bobo. Well, he ends up. Let's
Okay,
take it back.
he's
Let's take a
turning
look.
around.
Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, he gets that guy. Then he
He
goes
was
for
going, yeah,
yeah.
he was going for another dude. Okay.
Yep.
So Bobo doing Bobo things, out there hitting the block and then looking for somebody else to go hit. So smart play and smart player. This offense to me is in extraordinary shape. And this is with still a defensive offensive line that's not doing great yet with pass pro. It's not even mid at best
It's
at
not even
times.
doing okay.
It's doing okay. Yeah, doing not okay with pass pro. So imagine when. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch throughout the year. I'm not worried about giving up this many points to the Lions. I'm just not with this defensive unit. And they're the Lions. They're good. It's not great. And 19 for 19 is what it is with Goff.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm not going to say I'm not worried.
But I'm not like, I hear you. And it's like, it's okay. It's like, this is going to happen every now and again. And you do tip your cap. They've schemed really well. And they schemed directly into the teeth of where our teeth were half knocked out. All right. Tip the cap. That's a good job by Ben Johnson and team. So that's why I'm not too worried about that. But I'm definitely so excited for what the future, the near future holds for this team. And then we got some good news today. It seems like that I saw something about most of the dudes making it back to practice today. Brandon, did you have an update on that?
We had a few guys making it back to practice. I think because some players who were on the physically unable to perform list, they could start practicing, but that was only Cam Young that was able to come back. We did hear that Uchenna was able to do the walkthrough, but I think I don't know if we got an update on. Oh yeah, we got Mafe, Leonard Williams, but no Byron Murphy. So yeah, in terms of guys coming back, we got Cam Young, Leo Williams, Mafe, Chenna.
Okay, that feels pretty good. And if we had to be a little bit more conservative and hold them back so that they could then go play 2 more games in 9 days and then be healthy for a home game versus a team that we should beat, and we're going to cover that on What If and then throughout the week on the Seahawkers podcast, and then get ready for a Thursday night game and turn around and play the 49ers, who are showing some signs of real life again at 2-2 and still the biggest rival in the division for sure. I'm okay with the holding back if this gets him healthy. So it seems like we're on the right path. And then hopefully Murphy, it's a hamstring. He's a big dude. Maybe 1 more week and he's able to come back. Here's the hope on that one. So, and then Brandon, I do want to show you this as well. I mentioned it earlier. This is out on youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast right now. This is still live. So just because the checkbox is there doesn't mean you can't go vote on it. Go find it. But that's out there. So it says, assuming health, how many touchdowns can Kenneth Walker reach this season? Most folks are sitting in the middle there saying 14. But Brandon, what do you think? Do you think he could go? He's got 4 in 2 games. What do you think he could achieve?
Yeah, 4 in 2 games. And then we've got, let's see, are we including postseason in this, or is this just regular season?
Ooh, okay. That's a great question. No, throttle it, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, 25 plus. That's my answer.
I love it. Hey, I see somebody that might come off the top turnbuckle with a vote too. You want to tag him in for the hell of it?
Why not? How you doing, Adam?
Oh, hey, fellas. No, I did not mean to be tagged in. I just wanted to listen to what you guys were saying, but just came in for 2 seconds here and saw this. And I'm going to go with Tanner Less, only because our offensive quarter refuses to play the guy with any consistency for more than a quarter a game. That's all I got. And,
all right, you're out. Negative town. Get out of here.
Give me my Brandon back. We got to do another show right after this, Clinton. So no, I hope you guys are having fun. I appreciate you letting me hop in for a second.
All right, dude. Awesome. Love it. Okay, we got one more segment, so he'll have to be a bit more patient because win, lose, draw, or if there's a 4th dimension there that I'm not quite sure about yet, we are never, ever, ever going to skip From the Flock. We do encourage you to go to getintheflock.com. If you're getting value out of the shows we're putting out every single week, that takes you to Patreon, where, Brandon, why don't you tell them how they can help out and what do they get when they do? Because there's a lot of value there.
There's a lot of value. Getintheflock.com. You get our shows ad-free. So if you're out on YouTube and you're like, I'm not paying YouTube premium, because maybe I just like this show out on YouTube. Or if you listen in the podcast feed and you're like, I don't like these ads showing up, you can go to getintheflock.com. You get all the shows there ad free. And plus, you get into our Discord group where we're watching along on game day or talking throughout the week. And we have channels like 3 in, 3 out. We got our PNW Prop Stars. We got our What If, where you can vote on your Super Hawk for the week. And yeah, we're going to get into our From the Flock segment as part of 3 in, 3 out right now.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so perfect. So we are going to take it over to the Discord, and I am looking for, I think it's going to start with Car. Yes, I think Car jumped in first. And, fittingly, we're going to start with an out. Out, she goes, Lockett didn't catch the ball, so I don't understand why a flag wasn't thrown, especially 2 days after his birthday. Yeah, there was a play a little earlier in the match where looked like he got a little tuggy tug, but he didn't get the yellow laundry out on that one, Car.
Yeah, not even just a little tug. I felt like his entire arm was restricted as he was trying to come back to the ball.
That's right. Oh, yep. I remember that one. There was a few like that. Yes. And Car. I know it's love for Lockett, but your love was correctly directed. You're right about that.
Design Pete's Beach House talking about the canine flip. A lot of people tagging the in for that one. Crazy flip when he realizes his knees haven't touched the ground.
Flocktimus Prime, Keith Ketover, the man. He says, in Spoon shedding his man to make the tackle. Talked about it just a little bit earlier. It wasn't an in that I had in there, but glad that Keith was able to pick it up because he knew what I was putting down.
We got Sam G with the in, fourth quarter, 11 minutes and change after Barner catches and hurdles on a Sharp run. Barner takes a defender out, and Sharp runs through the hole like the guy went flying. So there you go. Maybe another soul taken by Mr. Barner in this game.
Barner, a.k.a. Young Will Disley, a.k.a. Prime Zach Miller. That's how we roll. Okay, Hawk Van Dyke Bloomy. He goes in. The barn door is open. I think he just meant because of the points, I'm assuming, and away we go.
We got KC Hawk with the in for the Bobo block of the end zone to get Barner his first touchdown.
We talked about that earlier. The play, 2 little drags across the mucky muck, a mini levels concept with Bobo as the lead blocker for Barner. And I saw that too, Casey. That is an awesome call out. Thank you for that. All right, we got Josh DeHuman saying in the backup defensive starters. They may not be our first team starters, but they played with heart. Okay, I'll give them that. They played with heart. That is all I'm going to say about that. He also says out the refs. How is DK not in? Yes. 2-point conversion he was in, and the other time he got accosted in multiple places and they didn't call that. So yes, out for the refs.
We've got Josh DeHuman back in, also pointing out that DK Metcalf is up to 104 yards after a catch, making him the first player in Seahawks history with 100 receiving yards in 3 straight games. When you consider guys like Steve Largent, Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, the fact that no player has done that in 3 straight games. DK Metcalf, the first, very impressive.
Yeah, D-Jack even the legends like Jerry Rice, right? So getting balls from Trent Dilfer and what already, but that is impressive. His year is off to a really tremendous start, and as we said, he was a half a cheek away from scoring his 3rd touchdown of the year too. So pretty great start for DK. All right, always a good thing happening with Frost out there in the Discord. He says in safeties are fun. In K9, 3 touchdowns. Yes, both those things are great. It is nice to turn the tables to get a safety as opposed to having it happen to us. That's just karma. That's ball don't lie. They took 2 points away. We got 2 points back.
Northwest Gambit saying in Geno is a stud, almost 400 yards passing and always fighting for the W. Out inopportune penalties on offense, killing drives.
Yeah, he's spot on there. And let's see, and so I watched Hawks from afar. How nice. That's like the inner fullback. I like this. In our ability to convert on 3rd and mid to long with some possession, maintaining shorter throws. I think what he's getting at here is a lot of words is like throwing the ball short of the sticks, but with momentum. We saw that with DK. We saw that with JSM. We saw that with Barner. Good scheme where dudes are not flat-footed. They are moving. They are crossing faces and getting upfield quickly to get complete 3rd downs, move the chains. And last year we saw a lot of balls that were maybe short of the sticks, but they're not open. There's no space, way more space in this offense so far from a scheme perspective.
We've got Godzer Wahak with
God,
the N.
that's Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla, like Godzilla Hawk. Godzilla.
In. Seahawks win time of possession. Out. Travis Gibson wearing cinder blocks instead of cleats.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Gibson, and I won't say his name anymore today. All right. The Spy Who Spooned Me. Probably my favorite name out there on Discord. I do love that. That and I Touched My Bobo. Those two I love. And he says, in to Geno, who once again was deadly accurate all night. We started the show with the video of Geno hitting the honey hole after escaping near death, then planting, then firing the ball about 18 yards downfield on a rope. He's playing great. What can we say?
Amy coming back in, giving the out to the refs for seemingly screwing us again by not calling a safety. Then an in to them for realizing the error in their ways. I kind of wish they would have done that on the 2-point conversion.
Me too. We got one last in. I love ending on this one because I don't think we've mentioned him all but once. In by Josh DeHuman. And I don't mean we didn't mention Josh because we actually did, but the in is for Stone Forsyth for holding Aiden Hutchinson down, did not allow Hutch to sack Geno. Dude went up against the Lions' best defensive player and stood his ground, and he's our third string right tackle, backup left tackle. Good on Stone. He deserves the recognition. I like that, Brandon.
We started with an out. We're closing with an out from Hawk Van Dyke, an out for facing our second team off of a mini bye. Hopefully it goes like Miami. I hope so too.
Yeah, sometimes you bring in the closer and it's a blown closer. They don't, even Rivera didn't get them all, right? So at 3-1, Brandon, it's okay. Now we've got a mixed up New York Giants team that can do Jekyll and I almost said Heckle and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde team where at moments they look okay and then they look brutal. But dude, Malik Neighbors is not. He's in concussion protocol and he's not even like helmet on yet as of today. So Wednesday was like, yeah, my buddy who's a big fan lives in Austin, Texas now. He's like, yeah, he's like stage 1 of getting out of concussion protocol. Even with the mini bye, he's seemingly not quite there yet. We'll see what Thursday and Friday brings. But if they don't have him, this game gets a heck of a lot simpler.
Well, it's relatively simple as it is. And like how with the Patriots game, the one guy you needed to stop was Ramondre Stevenson. With the Giants, the one guy you need to stop is Malik Neighbors. A little bit tougher ask maybe, but I think it's also one guy.
I'm going to hold my commentary until Seahawkers What If, and I know you're going to get on with Adam to talk to do the flagship show. I'm sure you're going to cover the Giants game as well. I don't think it's just one guy. I think there's a few more. I won't utter who they are just yet. Hint, it's not Daniel Jones, but there are some surrounding characters that I think are more than meets the eye. But we will talk about that on future shows.
Sounds good.
All right, bud. Well, that was a ton of fun. And I would love some comments, not just from you, Brandon. I don't need to hear from you, but I'd love to know, did people like the videos? Is that an upgrade that you enjoyed? Do you want more video? Is that something that, that gives you the fizz? It made it fun for me, Brandon. How about you? Did you like seeing some of the vids live?
It was fun. Yeah. We got to see some motion, and we'll just hope that we can avoid those YouTube copyright strikes.
We're going to put it up there, and I think we might.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.